back to another episode. How's it going, man?
Good. How are you?
Good. Um, so let's get started on. I guess we were just talking about this voter fraud shit and
Yeah.
how we can't be talking about voter fraud. Voter fraud is not allowed. You know, if you start speaking about it on YouTube and Facebook or Twitter, your ass is going to get removed. But let's talk about what they're not talking about in the corporate media. And as of February 5th, 2021, this is according to Gateway Pundit. Breaking: U.S. Supreme Court schedules Pennsylvania election case, Sidney Powell's Michigan case, and Lynn Wood's Georgia case for February 19th conference. So even though there was no election fraud, no, and it was a perfect election, the cleanest one ever, except for 2020, as 2016 was the one that was fucked up. But this one was good.
Well, not only that, they claim that it's impossible to happen this time around. You remember that?
Yeah,
It's impossible.
yeah. I know we're diving right into the election fraud shit, but again, I want to see these 80 million people that voted for Biden allegedly. I don't know. Again, where the enthusiasm is. Everyone out there is seeing the show has heard me say this many times, but where are the 80 million at? Where are they at? Where are they at?
It's worth repeating. It's worth repeating for sure.
Yeah. Well, hold on. What were we saying? Okay, so, um, oh yeah. I want to see 2016 Democrats saying election was false or whatever. Let's see here. I'm not going to do anything that fucking says fact check on it, even if it's from USA Today. None of that shit. I don't fucking trust any of it. This is according to the lid. Democrats never accepted the 2016 election. Why should Trump concede before court challenges are over? This was back in November. I wish they showed some proof here.
Well, if you look it up, Hillary Clinton was claiming the same thing until what I know 2019. The last video I saw of her, not conceding. It was all a sham. It was a farce. Russian collusion.
I don't know like what her like major boner is about Russian anything, but like even when the Hunter Biden shit came out, oh that was Russian disinformation. You even had that dipshit wannabe comedian, which I think we brought up. Fuck is his name? What's one of those hippie comedians?
I don't pay attention.
God, Jimmy Kimmel.
I'll pay attention to sons of bitches.
He was saying this Jimmy Kimmel comes up and says, "Oh, it could be some Russian trolls that were even involved in that GameStop stock shit." I'm like, "Oh my god, man!" She's never going to give up the Russian thing because I think that she has such a fucking major hatred for Putin that anything that goes like, "Oh, hey, here's Tulsi Gabbard, she's a Russian asset." No, no, not at all.
Honestly, I think he wants to get back at old Bill and ride Putin's dick. That's what I think. For all the years of infidelity from Bill.
Yeah, yeah. Which, what happened to him going to Fuck Island for 26 times? Anything coming of that? I mean,
Hell no.
you know what I mean? Hello, what the fuck? But we can't talk about that though. That gets real quick.
I did not have sexual relations with them young women.
Yeah. I did not go on that plane 26 times.
Holy shit.
26 fucking times, man. 26. Fucking no good, dirty fuck. Ugh. But, yeah. They got that big hard on for Russia. But, let's get right into what I really wanted to talk about is that piece of shit, no good New York governor, Andrew Cuomo. I'm not going to be kind on my words about this man because I think he's a fucking no good, dirty piece of shit that needs to be recalled and removed from his position as governor of New York because he did no service to his people, only killed people, got people killed that shouldn't have, and then even has the balls to go on TV and go, "Old people die." You know, that's what old people do. Not in those exact words, but you know,
They like it.
yeah. Like, but all jokes aside, man, we all now we see, which we can let's look up the latest Cuomo news. Oh, cover up claims engulf. Cover up claims engulf Cuomo as scandal over nursing home death grows. Let's see. When Governor Andrew Cuomo's top aide told Democratic lawmakers this week why the administration slow walked information on nursing home deaths, she appeared to be trying to dispel smoldering rumors of a cover up. Instead, the aide, Melissa DeRosa, threw gasoline on fire that by Friday had enveloped Cuomo's legacy of effective leadership during the COVID-19 crisis, something that he hoped to parlay into a fourth term next year. He's been in the governorship that long. Republicans demanded Cuomo's impeachment. There were calls for his top staffers to resign. Why, do you ask? Well, it says here the administration's handling of nursing home deaths is now a full-blown scandal, a stunning reversal for Cuomo, whose early handling of the pandemic and high-profile daily press briefings earned him soaring approval ratings and an Emmy and a book deal.
Yeah, didn't they give him a? It was either him or Hunter Biden that got a $2 million advance on their book.
Hunter Biden did. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. What I read was according to Politico. Now, to put it all into a nutshell, what happened is that one of his aides came out and said, yeah, you know, we did cover this up because there were claims that when old people, elderly, were going to the hospital because they were infected with COVID, and they were getting released from the hospital, being brought back to the nursing home, and then if they were going through cardiac arrest or any kind of like major situation where they're imminently going to die, they would be sent to the hospital, and that they would be declared dead at the hospital, and he would mark that as a hospital death, not a nursing home death. And so months ago, when the people, everyone on the right was saying, "Hey, let's look at these numbers because these numbers are not adding up," they admitted that after Trump said that the DOJ was going to do an investigation on those numbers to find out the real numbers, his aides and the administration of Cuomo started covering up and purposely hiding the information, which I think is obstruction of justice, if I'm not correct.
It's a lot of things, honestly. It's really despicable on how this is all being treated with kid gloves, because I don't think anything's going to happen of it. I don't think anything's going to come of it.
That's a possibility, but I see a big shift now in those that were backing the Democrats, the corporate media. A lot of people are starting to turn. Why is it okay to talk about this now? I think they're really starting to turn their back on Cuomo. They're turning their back on Newsom. And it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big deal now for them because they don't have, Orange Man Bad to really talk about right now. Because let's face it, he can't get on Twitter, so they can't report on his mean tweets.
No.
So now they're getting more serious things to talk about, but they're gonna change it as soon as they can.
And again,
like
this is according to Politico. She told legislators, this is DeRosa, the administration froze after the Department of Justice made an inquiry into Cuomo's management of nursing homes. State officials refrained from releasing the data, she said, because of the worry that President Donald Trump was trying to turn the tragedy into a giant political football. Meanwhile, this motherfucker was on TV saying, "Oh, well, look at like Ron DeSantis of Florida. Huh? He keeps fucking shit up over there." And like, and then you look at the numbers and you find out like, wow, well, Florida has way more retired people and elderly in the entire state, but it has yet a lower number overall. To the rate of, like
For fact, I guarantee I know why there's a lower number, especially among the elderly in Florida. Because all the retirement communities have the highest concentration of STDs in the world.
that's true.
So they're probably
That's a
lot
funny
of shit.
it's a funny fact. That's very true. It's very true. Yeah.
So they're immune to a lot of shit, bro.
When the whole COVID thing is a fucking joke, when you have a woman that's just turned 117 years old today. She is a nun in France that survived the Spanish flu in 1918 and then now survived the coronavirus and just turned 117 today.
That's some shit.
Like, yeah, ain't that a bitch? That's something. Here we go. Continuing on, we were in a position where we weren't sure if what we were going to give to the Department of Justice or what we give to you guys, and what we start saying was going to be used against us, and we weren't sure if there was going to be an investigation. DeRosa said during the meeting. Well, that's nice. That's nice. But as he said, who cares? Who cares? This guy.
At the same time, everybody in this cabinet is, bringing their parents and grandparents out of the nursing homes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously, you can't trust the fucking guy anymore. The one thing that COVID did is that really opened up Americans' eyes to who their local officials are, or local, elected officials are. There's no reason why I should really know so much about the governor of New York living here on the West Coast, but yet I do, because he's a fucking no good lying piece of shit. and like I made a joke on Facebook, going, 6 months ago, before Trump, it was, Cuomo, he's like basically Italian Jesus. We love the fucking guy. He's so good. And then now after Trump, man, fuck this guy. He killed a whole bunch of old people. Fucking Italian This guy got an Emmy. Like how, like him and his brother, they're sucking each other's dicks on CNN, going, "Oh, hey, big brother, you got a big nose. This is journalism. You're doing such a good fucking job." Oh God, dude.
I didn't know he had I didn't know he got an Emmy. That's sad.
Yeah, you didn't know that one? Oh no, my God. Cuomo Emmy. Let's see here. Here we go. A poll it just says POL. What is that thing? It says recipient of the 2020 International Emmy Founders Award is seen on screen during the 48th International... Oh, let's see here. Anyway, the poll calls for Cuomo's Emmy Award to be taken back over nursing home cover-up.
What? Yeah, they're going to take your participation trophy away?
You did such a good job. You made speeches during the fucking day. Oh, hey. Give this guy a fucking Emmy. He got a book. He wrote a book about how good he handled the fucking coronavirus. How fucking self-centered fucking person are you that you wrote a goddamn book during a pandemic? How the fuck you find the time? How do you find the time? But no,
because he wasn't doing shit.
Not a fucking thing.
The only thing he was
It's
doing
not
was
a fucking
bashing
local.
Trump, man.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the only thing.
We're not going to
Bashing
take the
Trump.
virus. Yeah, I don't trust any vaccine. I don't trust any vaccine that comes from this administration. You
But
know?
yet they're
Yeah.
pushing the vaccine now.
Yeah, now he's pushing the vaccine now. Yeah. Like, I never understood that. Like, everyone was just mocking him about it. Like, what, you think that Trump is actually in the laboratory doing the fucking, like, creating the goddamn vaccine? Like, you don't trust the fucking people that, like, it's not even the government that's creating the fucking thing in the first place. This is what I hate. This is, like, it boggles my mind. Like, and it just hurts me in the head about how people think that the government produces stuff. The government doesn't produce shit. The
Nope.
government doesn't produce the cars that you. The government doesn't even produce all the stuff and the equipment that the military uses. They produce nothing.
Nope.
Nothing.
All they are is a bunch of thieves.
Yeah. They're good at two things: taking your money and spending the fuck out of it. Yeah, here we go. This is November 23rd. Cuomo nets Emmy just for doing his job. Governor Andrew Cuomo netted a special Emmy on Monday for just doing his job holding daily COVID-19 briefings. And despite being behind the state's deadly nursing home debacle, this was back in November. Yeah.
Uh,
A slew of New York bred celebrities, from Robert De Niro, Spike Lee, and Rosie Perez to Billy Crystal and Billy Joel, played along by fawning over the Democratic governor and his International Emmy Founders Award in a montage tribute.
it's funny how you used to look up to these celebrities growing up.
Yeah.
Then you grow up and realize they're a bunch of fucking morons. They're a bunch of self-centered, oftentimes self-loathing pieces of shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's unreal.
Oh,
You know,
my.
these same people who are, claiming that, freedom of speech is now inciting violence when they've been inciting violence for the last 4 years. If this was high school, I would take him back in the back of the shed, punch him in the face. Oh, I just want to punch him right in the mouth. Oh, blah blah
Or
blah.
or we've never seen large crowds of like disgruntled people in DC before after an election, except for 2017 when what was it, Madonna, was it Madonna that was up there
Who
with,
said that? Who says she's thought a lot about blowing up the White House?
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, hey, just have some fucking terrorist threats right there in fucking DC in 2017, that's okay.
And then Johnny Depp. When's the last time an actor has assassinated an American president? What the fuck? Or what was that play? Was it supposed to be about Caesar, but it was a guy dressed up as Trump getting stabbed?
Oh,
You
I didn't
remember
hear
that?
about that one.
Yeah, I think it was supposed to be a story about Caesar, but one of the actors, is dressed as Trump, and everybody else is dressed as, I guess, Congress, and they did a scene where he was getting stabbed.
President Trump gets stabbed in play. Starting video of New York City's. I want to make sure I pause that. Starting video from New York City's latest Shakespeare in the Park production shows a character resembling Donald Trump being brutally stabbed to death. William Shakespeare's Julius Caesar, which will be performed throughout the summer in Central Park. What the fuck? Is causing stir among audiences because it was apparently inspired by the Trump administration. Footage shows Caesar wearing a suit and tie and constantly tweeting, while his wife, Capernia, bears a striking resemblance to First Lady Melania Trump. Wow. Well, fuck you too. How about that?
Can't believe you never heard of
I
that.
didn't. No, I don't remember that one. This was, June of 2017.
And then you got that crazy redhead bitch that held up a severed head of him.
Yeah. Bloody head. Yeah. That was one of the few that actually got enough backlash where she got
Got fired.
blacklisted for that. Yeah.
Dumb bitch.
You see, yeah, but seriously, man, like it's this double standard. But that's whataboutism. That's whataboutism. Yeah, but you guys are supposed to be setting a standard that you're enforcing on us, but you're not living by it on yourself. So yeah, I could play this whataboutism all fucking day. You know, it's just.
Yeah.
It's
They're the
fucking
modern day Gestapo, my friend.
modern day Gestapo. It is true. It is true. If you have conservative opinion, which I didn't think that it was anti-Semitic to make references to actual historical events that happened against Jews and Nazis in World War II or in the 40s and 30s, but apparently that's anti-Semitic nowadays. I didn't.
Because they don't want you to connect the dots, and then they just want to project onto you what they are onto you.
Yeah. They want you to be in line, be good little boys and girls, boys, girls, he, she's, it's, hers, z, Latinx, whatever. Latinx. It's Latinx.
It's boys and girls, he's and she's.
That's just
How's
binary.
that for a popular opinion?
Yeah. Oh man, I was thinking this in my head over and over, and I really wanted to say this because I know that probably Andrew Cuomo's never going to hear this, but if he does, if there's a chance of, and if anyone makes a clip, start now and clipping this part out. But Andrew Cuomo, I think you're a fucking dirty, no good, lying piece of shit governor. So fuck you and fuck your Fredo fuck brother too. How about that?
Amen.
Yeah.
For a while there, it almost sounded like you're all going all Home Alone on me, dude.
I'll go like fucking Joe Pesci. I asked you, when the fuck did I ever ask you if I could come out here?
Oh, you're a funny guy.
What do you mean?
Funny
Funny?
how?
Yeah. No. He said it. You said it. You said I'm funny. I'm funny how? Like a fucking clown? What am I?
Hey, Mr. Pesci, if you ever watch this, it's because we love your work.
The only man in Hollywood where he could go off and make Casino and Home Alone, you know, like completely like two different characters, or or fucking Lethal Weapon 3, right? It was in 3 or 4. You know, in both of them.
It was Lethal Weapon 2, 3, and 4. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
'Cause-
And then fuck you, motherfucker. I asked you. You count the words he says, like fuck how many times? You hear a little bitch ace, huh? You hear a little girl, huh? You call my friend
Oh shit, man, that's funny.
Yeah.
I would
Awesome.
like to actually. I would actually like to meet him. Honestly,
Yeah, that would I like a lot of his movies. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't
'Cause,
really watch The Irishman though.
it was all right.
He was kind
Yeah,
of calmer in that one.
it was. I'm not gonna say it was great, but it was all right. It was basically check your brain at the door kind of thing.
Man, Cuomo for his 4th term. He's on his 3rd right now. That dude's fucked for his 4th. He has to be. There's no way, and he'll get a 4th.
No, that's when they'll let his brother.
Yeah,
run.
he assumed office January 1st, 2011.
That's
10
insane.
fucking years ago. Jesus.
And I've never heard of him until a couple years ago.
Shit. Yeah, anyway. Well, I hope you're fucking done. I hope you're out of there.
We shall see.
Yeah. It's going to be like with... and that's another thing that Democrats are turning on. Is that dumb shit Newsom in California. Which I wrote an article about this like a month ago. That his ass needs to be made an example of and get recalled. was right away. And I don't know. I don't know. Like, it's just like the Democrats are like already turning on him. You got the, like you said, like they don't have the Orange Man bad to like talk about. So this is going to get attention now. What is?
Well, it's funny because big news agencies like CNN, before he was before this last election, already started losing large chunks of ratings, and now that he's no longer there, I mean, shit, their ratings have dropped. I think by about half. I think
Yeah,
was what I last saw.
it was like in a 1 week span. In 1 week, it was the ratings had dropped to 44%.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I think it was AT&T that was selling their rights to CNN because of it.
really.
So they actually lost a sponsor. Yeah, they might have lost more, but I think it was AT&T that dropped them right after the election.
They dropped him. Damn.
I believe it was AT&T. I could be wrong.
Well, let's find out because I have readily access to the internet. AT&T drop CNN. AT&T reportedly wants to get rid of CNN as fear grows. AT&T reportedly looking to sell CNN after hit. So AT&T owns CNN?
Well, yeah,
Really? After
yeah.
hit from hating Trump, because I didn't know that. Fuck those guys, man. Well, seriously, I thought it was still the Turner Network owned them.
Well, either way, no matter what, I mean, I'm pretty sure Disney owns most of them as a whole.
Disney owns what was it? ABC.
I don't know. They own a lot.
Yeah, so his parent is Warner Media LLC, which is owned by AT&T. Oh, you see, subsidiaries gotta dig.
Yeah.
Jesus, yeah, sell it. You know what they need to do? They need to sell it, and then some big fucking multi-billion-dollar conservative needs to buy that shit and just completely dismantle that motherfucker. That'd be funny.
Just liquidate that bitch.
Yep. Bye.
Hey, but you know what? They have jobs that they can go to in green energy
Oh yeah, that's right. Give him $600 and build some fucking solar panels, Don Lemon. Okay.
or learn to code.
Yeah, learn to code, Chris Cuomo.
Oh man, what when the learn to code, supposedly racist at one point, or still is racist.
Yeah, something because like they were even calling STEM racist because it is
Yeah.
disproportionately white men that are in STEM fields.
Well, it's funny you say that too, because there are some places, there are some countries in Africa where they're trying to get rid of STEM because they see it as a colonialist agenda or some bullshit. It's like, huh? And you wonder why your country's fucking falling apart, you dumb piece of shit.
I like this one. This is PJ Media. I'm just not even going to click on the article, but the headline says "Learn to code: good advice or hate speech."
Hate speech.
Is it good advice or is it hate speech? Just like
I
the
mean,
uh,
it would be a good skill to have. It wouldn't hurt.
no, it doesn't hurt at all. It's like the Vox headline I sent to you today. Um, Gina Carano's firing is really about the future of American conservatism. Was the actress fired for being conservative? Not unless bigotry is conservative.
Now, what
Get the
exactly did
fuck.
she do that was bigoted? Is my question. Was it because she wouldn't conform to your Nazi ideology, your cult following
Yeah,
of
which,
fucking
which I'm sure.
pan-
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
pandering to mentally ill people who have gender dysphoria? You don't help people by pandering to their fucking mental illness. You go fix the fucking problem. You acknowledge it's there,
Yeah.
but they need some serious psychological fucking help because they are doing serious self harm to themselves also. by not only altering their genitalia, but altering their natural fucking hormones.
Well, it was like that woman that wrote the book, and I can look it up if anyone really cares about the name, but she got so much backlash from the LGBTQ plus Batman symbol, peace sign, that because she said in her book that there has been 1,000% increase among teenage girls, teenage women, or girls, or however you want to, teenage females that have been turning trans. 1,000%. Overly disproportionate than any other single group than men, but specifically on teenage females. And in her book, she breaks it down to the point where we have grown so much in society in these major cities and the big suburban areas where you get incentivized by coming out as trans. You get incentivized by coming out as gay. Or mostly just trans, because they want to be so progressive and be like, oh my god, you're trans, oh my, this supports you to build you up, or oh, you're fucking 4 years old and you said you want a Barbie doll, oh god, you're really a girl, I'm so happy for, shit like that. And so, and as much as you want to, you want to dispute, and say sexist maybe or whatever, but that everyone in their teens, 15, 14 years old, is always looking for acceptance, not only from family, but, from society and all together. But especially young girls, teenage girls, are more susceptible to this. And she found that as 1,000% increase, or some ridiculous amount of them going trans. And then what happens is that then these laws are getting created of, okay, well, you could be 16 and have hormone therapy without, parental consent. Or you can, basically chop your breasts off at before you're 18. And stuff like this, and do all this irreversible damage, which we talked about it before, when about the bone structure and all that other shit, where you introduce testosterone. You're basically sterilizing women in their teens, and saying it's okay because you're trans, I want to support you, blah 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 blah. When this should be something that we address, not say that this woman is fucking transphobic, but this is destroying people's lives, It really is. Because there was even that woman that's, I'm going to say woman in the United Kingdom that's suing the doctor that allowed her under the age of 18 to do all these surgeries and shit. I don't know if you heard about that one.
No, I haven't, but it's not an uncommon story. But there's, you're definitely right. They get these victim points also, so the acceptance, and then they just want to fit in. Because it's right now, it's the cool thing to do.
Yeah.
And it's not. You're fucking yourself up. And then, but before you know it, you're going to have all these suicidal thoughts, because it's too late. Because by the time you've done all this stuff to your body, you can't really change it back.
No.
So the suicide rate among these poor souls is through the fucking roof.
It was like that case in Texas where it was a 13 kid was 8, 7. The mom 7. Was trying to get him transitioning at a young age, and the father was like, no. Well,
you know what she did for a living?
Huh?
She was a child psychologist.
That's right. I think I heard that.
Either a child psychologist or a pediatrician, one of the two. Look, she worked with children, though, which is pretty fucking scary.
And to put this into perspective for people to really understand, this is the way I look at it. I am not going to make, as a parent, never, ever will I make a decision for my child if they are, trans or want to go down that way before that they're 18. I'm not going to make the decision that would cause irreversible damage and sterilize them at a young age. Because what she wanted to do was start giving him hormones and chemically castrating the kid. Let him be an adult and make that fucking decision, because that's a life-altering decision. You cannot, and morally cannot, sterilize your children like that. You can't. You shouldn't. You shouldn't be. You shouldn't deny someone's right to reproduce, because even if that's what they want right then, you let them make that decision as an adult. To me, overall, that's what I think it should be the most concerning.
Not only that, is kids tend to grow out of that too.
Out of anything, really. Yeah.
I mean, hell, I don't remember, but I'm sure that if I ever went to somebody's house that had a daughter, I'm sure I would have played Barbies with her.
Yeah.
Thank God I grew up back in those days before like, oh, you're a girl.
Yeah. Yeah, it goes back to that woman in Texas. She is because her son picked out the fucking girl toy at McDonald's.
Yeah,
And it's like, oh, you're a girl.
there's actually a video done by the father when he had visitation with his son, and he says, "So do you want to be a girl?" And he says, "I like girls. Mommy says I'm a girl because I like girls." Like, I mean, that sounds like a boy to me.
Yeah, I mean, okay, that doesn't mean I gotta chemically castrate you, son. Just because you like dolls and shit at 8, at 7.
So, I mean, that video sounded to me like he was playing with the dolls just to get close to the girls.
Yeah.
You know,
But to
that's perfect.
go off on this article, 23-year-old Kiara Bell from Manchester, UK, was administered testosterone at 17 and had a double mastectomy at 20 as part of a gender transition she underwent starting at 16. Years later, regretting the decision, she is left with a deep voice and is possibly infertile. Now Bell is seeking to sue the UK's NHS Tavistock clinic for allegedly rushing her into transitioning after she realized that she had gone down the wrong path. She feels that she was not given adequate psychiatric assessments before being prescribed puberty blockers, and she is now raising awareness over the implications following puberty blockers in her action to take the clinic to the High Court, according to the Daily Mail. And that's another thing is that parents are afraid to say, oh, I can't allow, no, fuck no, you're not going through that because they're going to get societal backlash. Their rich white neighbors are going to be like, you're a transphobe, you know?
Yeah, I really don't know what else to say about it, man, that I haven't already. I mean, it's not going to be politically correct, which nothing I really say is. But most of them do end up regretting it, and a lot of them, instead of trying to sue anybody, just take their own lives. I mean, these are misguided souls that need help.
Yeah, and again, there are people out there that are legitimately transgender. There really is. There's people out there that want to tattoo the fuck out of themselves and get implants and fucking cut all. People want to do, but but you can't. It should be allowed to just talk about it. Even if I want to talk about it, they want to throw transphobic at you. And
Yeah.
and I hate this wordplay because I've been called xenophobic before, and I've looked at people and be like, I've been to all these countries. I've been married in Ukraine. My wife is not from the United States. And I promise you, I am not phobic of anyone's culture. I am not fearful of it. I don't fear trans people either. I'm not transphobic. I'm not homophobic either. I don't fear any of that shit, or any of those people. But what I am saying is that when there's a clear uptick in how many people and how many young women are transitioning and then immediately regretting it, that's an issue. That's an issue that we need to address and talk about. We can't just say, oh, if you want to bring it up, you have to, and then throw titles at people.
You know, you brought up an interesting point. There are some people that are legitimately trans,
Yeah.
right? My whole thing about that, about the whole situation, is I shouldn't be made to address them by their preferred pronoun. If I want to call a man that transitions to a woman bro or dude or sir, I should be able to say that, regardless of his feelings, because that's just who I am. You were born a male, your chromosomes are still the same.
Yeah.
You cannot, it's impossible to change a chromosome. So to me, you're still a man, whether you have your dick and balls or not. And same thing with a female, because guess what? You still have ovaries, or you had ovaries if you had them removed.
Yeah.
Everything's the same. Doesn't matter.
That's right. because
So,
your feelings do not trump my right to, or override my right to speak freely or say call you whatever I want to call you. I can call the governor of New York a fuckhead. I think that's my right. You know.
exactly. It's the same ballpark, man.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't think it's healthy because even if they are legitimately trans, to me they still have a mental illness, and that needs to be addressed, and they need to be looked after.
And this is to the great state of Oregon and how progressive they are. Okay, in Oregon, this is according to Snopes, so if it's a fact check on the left, you know it's true. In Oregon, the age of medical consent is 15 or older. Patients should be able to demonstrate the capacity to make a fully informed decision and to give consent to treatment regardless of age. However, nothing in Oregon law requires a healthcare provider to provide medical services to a minor or safeguard the confidentiality of a minor. In most cases, providers will encourage, and in some cases require, family engagement and support unless it would endanger the patient. Yeah, so at 15, you can just walk in and don't need parental consent for puberty blockers.
See, that's irresponsible on so many levels because it's the parents' not only right, but it's their responsibility to take care of their children in all aspects of their life. You know, what kind of education, what kind of medical treatments they get or not get. You know, and I can go off into a huge thing about that, but I'm
Yeah.
not going to right now. Uh, but it's not the state's job to do that for the parent. They don't have the right to do that.
No. No. They shouldn't. But it's just more perversion of our American culture. It's just going fucking crazy. It's gotten so confusing, man, where you even have gay communities saying that transsexuals are destroying the gay community, and it's just a slap in the face against the gay community, where it's like where gay people are transitioning to become the opposite sex but yet are really gay in the long run. It's really, I don't know, it's like homophobic or some shit. Like that's what they're even trying to say. It's getting really complicated and a lot of moving steps here.
Well, because a lot of look, leftism is a mental illness. It really is. I mean, there's no rhyme or reason to anything they believe in because everything contradicts each other. You ever notice that?
Uh-huh.
Everything they believe, contradicts one belief or another or multiple beliefs that they have. So,
This is how complicated. This is a Reddit post. It says transgender people are homophobic. Some of the most homophobic people I've ever met identify as the opposite sex. Trans people are now constantly lecturing gay people on their sexual preferences. If a lesbian doesn't want to be with someone who has a penis, she gets told she is a bigot, a transphobe, etc. They will hurl slurs, call her a piece of shit, turf scum, etc., simply for having a sexual orientation she cannot change. Gay men who refuse to date female trans men with vaginas are now getting abuse. It's getting so fucking complicated, man. Like I don't know.
and the perversion doesn't stop there. I mean, California passed a law that quote unquote protects gay men. So basically, they can be a pedophile as long as they have sex with another boy.
So
Or
yeah. I got into deep, real far in depth into this one. So what was on the law books was that, and this was for straight couples. So let's say, how to put this: 16-year-old woman, 16-year-old girl, and 19-year-old guy get together, hook up. She gets pregnant, but then he gets charged with um, statutory rape. And so it was and so the courts had said, and the law says that, well, we want the parents to be together, so we're not going to throw a felony charge on the guy because they're within 10 years of age. However, the same was not applied for gay men or gay couples. And I think predominantly gay men, because if a 16-year-old gay guy was messing around with a 20-year-old gay man, then he would get charged with a felony. And they said that that wasn't right if it was applicable for straight, and it was because they didn't want to inhibit the man that got the girl pregnant from getting a job if he had a felony charge on him. But yet, the law says 10 years, right? So technically, you could still have 15-year-old with 24-year-old man, and that would not get a felony charge on that. Yeah.
These people need to be taken care of.
Yeah. But it was.
I'm just gonna say it, because pedophiles have, pedophiles are pedophile no matter how you look at it. All right. They get taken care of in prison very, very quickly and very efficiently. No matter where they are.
I said at the time, well, why don't we just roll back the law and just start charging the guys and straight couples with felonies again? Fuck it. If you can't realize at 19 that you shouldn't be fucking around with someone under the age of 18, or I think what's the age of consent? Age of consent in California, which that's another thing. You could just lower the age of consent in California.
Well, here in Texas is 17.
Yeah, the age of consent in California is 18. You want to see one that really fucking gets your mind, will blow your mind, is nope. Says ages of consent in Arkansas. There's a weird one with Arkansas that has like something that involves you have to be you can't be above 20, and then 14 would be like still some fucking weird one. But yeah, so it's either that. I mean, like I think at that, when it came to that law, I say you start charging everyone with felonies. How about fuck it? Like I said, if you don't know that you shouldn't be fucking around with someone under the age of 18 when you're 19 or 20, then you probably should deserve the charge. You know what I mean? Regardless of straight, male, female, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when I got to Texas and I heard 17, I was like, what the fuck? Because I'm used to everywhere else, you're 18. It's got to be 18.
What in the fuck is that? Let's see here. By age, by relationship. Why does it say 21? That doesn't make any sense. I don't understand. Unlimited. I don't know. So, okay. Younger partner is deemed able to consent to having sex with an older one as long as their age difference does not exceed a specified amount. Really weird. I don't know.
What's the specified amount?
Alabama 16.
Well, I think Alabama can be younger because I remember a story.
If they're your family. It says he, being 16 years or older, engages in deviant sexual intercourse with a person less than 16 and more than 12 years old. Person commits the crime of sodomy in the second degree if that happens. If he, being 16 years or older, engages in deviant sexual intercourse with another person less than 16 and more than 12. So even at, okay. You don't fuck around in Alabama.
I remember, I think it was in Alabama, there was an older woman, and she married a young boy. I think he was 13. I think it was in Alabama. It was either Mississippi or Alabama. I want to say it was late '90s, early 2000s. I heard about this. I thought it was the craziest shit I've ever heard. And I think she was in her 30s at the time, and he was only like 13, and it was totally fine. Like they were on the news and talking to both of them, talking to the camera. She wasn't talking behind a glass or anything.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is where Arkansas gets a little sketchy. I know it seems kind of weird going to like conversation of the age of consent, but Arkansas, the age of consent is 16 with some close in age exemptions. Details: the minimum age is 16 for anyone aged 20 or older. Under 20, the younger person must not be less than 14. However, there exists a sexual indecency with a child law that prohibits any person over the age of 18 soliciting sexual activity from anyone under 15 or believed to be under 15 or believed. This means that while sexual activity between a 14-year-old and an 18-year-old or 19-year-old may be legal in and of itself, soliciting it could still be charged as a Class D felony. Yeah.
What does that mean? Like, is that so? As long as
Which I believe, so soliciting means that you're buying it,
yeah.
right? So it has to be an unpaid consensual endeavor.
What the fuck?
But if you're, yeah, but it's a Class D felony if you're trying to pick up a 15-year-old hooker. Yeah. Which is fucking out of this world, you know, to even be thinking of that shit. But that's what it says on the law here.
Tell you what, let some
But
bitch
soliciting of a prostitute over the age of 18, I think, is just a misdemeanor.
I will proudly go to prison if anybody even looked at my girls like that.
Yeah, no shit, right? Yeah, crazy. Crazy. State laws. But yeah, but that's what that was on that.
Well, you know, Arkansas was Bill Clinton's state.
Arkansas, yep, yes sir.
So
by the way, when he was governor in Arkansas, he knew about that cocaine running from that fucking CIA informant from Colombia. You know that fucking Tom Cruise movie? You know what I'm talking about? So, what was it? There was this guy. He had like a fuck. I can't remember the exact details. I saw most of the movie, but it was a true story. This guy was like a CIA informant. The CIA basically, and it was this like rogue CIA agent that was trying to keep this informant under wraps because he wanted to look like he was doing some kind of involvement under investigation with Pablo Escobar. And so this American guy from Arkansas would fly his little plane down in the South America, meet with Pablo Escobar, and then fly over certain drop spots in Arkansas that would be, and just throw this cocaine packages out of his plane. CIA knew about it, and he kept making a whole bunch of fucking money. It came down to that even and this was while Clinton was governor of Arkansas, and allegedly he knew about it too, and just let it kept going until the guy was killed by the cartel or by Escobar.
You know, actually, I heard of a murder that may have been connected to it. There was a couple of boys that were found dead on the railroad tracks, and it's believed that they may have seen this operation and were killed for it.
Really?
Yeah. I think it was, if I remember correctly, I believe it was two boys. They were out one night walking down some railroad tracks and disappeared, were later found on the railroad tracks. I believe they were run over by a train, or a train saw them and stopped.
Wow.
But it was in Arkansas, and there's I mean, obviously nothing confirmed. It's right now just conspiracy theory. But a lot of people believe that that's what they witnessed, and that's why they were killed and placed on the train tracks to basically get rid of all evidence. but they are definitely murdered.
Shit. Yeah.
But if it's this, there's there is that I mean, it's still a mystery today, but there is that story connected to that. Yeah, for sure.
We need to build some army bases in Mexico. Take over that whole
Hey,
cartel problem. They obviously can't fucking handle it.
I mean, Trump did declare war on the cartels, so I'm wondering why we ain't down there yet. Either that, or God willing, Texas ever becomes its own nation again, we'll probably take it over.
Wow. I'm trying to
A lot of
find.
for land down there, and all kinds of other resources that we could use.
Yeah, so this is. I'm trying to look up this cocaine connection with when he was governor. It says Clinton's cocaine mafia document from 1994. Clinton's mafia with cocaine, drug smuggling on Mina Airport, toga parties, threats, murder attempts, murders, money laundering, destruction of files, manipulation of justice, bank fraud, etc. Uh, it says map of Arkansas with its capital Little Rock and the airfield of Mina. The cocaine bill, Clinton says. The cocaine, Bill Clinton says, I've never done anything wrong. His crimes are cocaine use, cocaine smuggling, threats, murder attempts. The movie by citizens for. Yeah, this is kind of an old thing. It kind of got brushed under the Clinton former
Yeah,
lover, Bill Just.
look up something about those boys on the railroad tracks, though. It was during Clinton's administration in Arkansas.
So, boys found killed on train tracks in Arkansas.
I want to say it was back in.
Was it death of Don Henry and Kevin Ives?
I don't remember
Murder
names,
on the
but
Tracks. This is on YouTube. Boys on the Track cases remains. Okay, it says over 30 years later, Boys on the Tracks mystery still haunts small Arkansas town. Whatever happened in the woods that 1987 night with Larry Kevin Ives and Don Henry is still unknown.
yeah.
On August 23rd, 1987, the two Arkansas teenagers headed out to go hunting around midnight. Whatever happened in the woods that night, still a mystery. What we do know is that a cargo train was making its usual run to Little Rock, and around 4 a.m., when the engineers spotted something on the tracks. They were lying side by side on the tracks, covered with tarp. The train was unable to stop, and the two boys were dragged for nearly a mile. The tarp was never found, and Kevin and Don were killed. Initial autopsy determined that the boys had smoked a large amount of marijuana and were simply incapacitated. It was an accident or possibly suicide.
I don't know anybody who covers himself up with a tarp, no matter how high they are.
Man, it's getting cold out here, man. Look at this tarp. No. Wow. What town was this? Let's see.
I think it was in the article.
Yeah, let's see. What town? What town? What town? Oh, over time, the investigation delved into a variety of theories. It was thought that perhaps the boys had witnessed something they shouldn't have, which was the first thing that popped in my mind. Perhaps it was something to do with a drug drop. The cocaine trade already had ties to nearby Mina, Arkansas. Rumors intensified, and over time, conspiracy theories were rampant. Drugs, cartels, political corruption. Missing case files all played into the murders, and years later, the prosecutor in the case was convicted of crimes including racketeering, extortion, and drug possession. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Look at you, man. Just a library of knowledge.
Most of it useless, but sometimes it comes in handy.
That's a fucking trip right there. Yeah, they probably did witness something, some kind of drug drop. Because that's what I was about to find out, what town it was, so I could see how far it was from Mina. Wow.
I mean, you can definitely look up where they were initially spotted, and you can where they initially or where they ended up after the train drug them. And I, put two and two together. You can
Yeah,
look up crime scene photos too, and it's pretty fucking gnarly.
yeah. It says that where they were found was near Mina. That's
Yeah,
all it says. We're on railroad tracks near Mina. The bodies were Kevin Ives 17, and that's probably exactly what happened.
yeah,
And their murderers will never come to. In the 80s, Mina was used for one of the busiest drug smuggling and smuggling operations in the world in what eventually became known as the Iran Contra scandal. Key operatives in Iran Contra were George Bush, Oliver North, Dewey Claridge, John Poindexter, and Caspar Weinberger. The entire operation, however, would have to have bipartisan efforts. This would require cooperation from former CIA operative. It says this would require the cooperation of former CIA operative and then Governor Bill Clinton. He was a
yep.
CIA operative?
I don't think he was an operative. I believe at one time he was he was high up. He was high up in the food chain with the CIA. I know he wasn't the director. I think he was just below or a couple positions below. I don't think he was ever an operative though.
Really? Wow. Yeah, that's what it was about. It was about that whole Iran Contra shit. But then they wanted this guy to get in under the to get close to Pablo Escobar. It's a good movie. It's worth watching, even though with that crazy fuck.
Well, what's it called? I don't even know what it's called.
Let's find out. The Tom Cruise. American Made.
American Me?
American Made.
Oh, American Made.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not a big secret now that the CIA was heavily involved in drug trafficking to push into lower income
Crack.
neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Yep, because there was cocaine and then there was crack. Um, Basically, I think it started with there was a huge problem that there. I can't remember what it is now. I'll think of
This
it. And
this
I'll,
is on actual government website on this is according to the Justice Department. If you'll open up, but it's titled CIA Contra Crack Cocaine Controversy: A Review of the Justice Department's Investigations and Prosecutions, December 1997. Let's see, introduction. I guess where can we start? This is like Ricky Ross, Ronald Lister, Enrique Miranda Jamie, Carlos Cabezas.
yeah, the original Rick Ross, not the rapper.
Yeah, Ricky Ross. Yeah. See, so this is, which we can just go off of fucking Wikipedia. I don't give a shit. A number of writers have alleged that the United States CIA was involved in the Nicaraguan Contras cocaine trafficking operations during the 80s Nicaraguan Civil War. These claims have led to investigations by the government, including hearings and reports of the U.S. House of Representatives, Senate, Department of Justice, and CIA. Well, what is it about the crack epidemic? That's what we...
So the crack epidemic, if you trace back the timelines, because when hip hop rap first came about, it was about tight knit communities and cleaning up your neighborhood and all this other stuff. But then around the time crack came around, the attitude and the lyrics changed quite dramatically to gang banging and selling drugs. That's all a CIA program designed to do that, to basically fuck over inner city communities from ever doing anything with themselves.
To keep them dumbed down and in line,
Yeah,
in inner city.
because they don't want all of us to unite. Because if we all were on the same sheet of music and saw the government as a whole is for the bullshit that it is. We're a serious threat.
It says, for the better part of a decade, a San Francisco Bay Area drug ring sold tons of cocaine to the Crips and Blood street gangs of Los Angeles and funneled millions in drug profits to a Latin American guerrilla army run by the U.S. CIA. This drug ring opened the first pipeline between Colombia's cocaine cartels and the black neighborhoods of Los Angeles, and as a result, the cocaine that flooded in helped spark a crack explosion in urban America.
Yeah.
Support these claims. The series focuses on three men. Dark Alliance series. Rick Freeway Ross, 61 years old, still alive. So he was a drug trafficker, huh? Yeah.
He was a drug trafficker. Really, really big one. I think he was the biggest in LA, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
And he spoke about his. I think he used the term his CIA handlers. I think was the term he used, but they were heavily involved in the drug trade and
Really?
moving weapons to and from Mexico for the street gangs.
Let me ask you this: do you think that the CIA has too much power?
I think all the alphabet agencies have too much fucking power,
All the
and
alphabet boys.
I think they either need to be seriously checked or they need to be abolished altogether.
Do you know much about God damn, what is it called? Operation
Fast and Furious?
No, I don't even know that one.
Operation Fast and Furious was done under the Obama administration with running guns from the United States to Mexico to try and alter Second Amendment rights because people were trying to claim that American guns were being stolen and given to cartels.
So it was an operation to purposely influence Second Amendment laws by smuggling guns from the United States into Mexico. The CIA were selling these guns to cartels.
Yeah.
Really? Let's see. Operation what do you call Fast and Furious?
Yep.
Let's take a look. A lot of this shit's disclosed now, so it's good to. I love looking up this shit. ATF gun walking scandal. This was just in 2009.
Yep.
Obama. This is
so.
Wow.
A lot of the guns were stolen, and actually, I have to say all of them were stolen because they were taken by one mean or another, either legitimate robberies or gun confiscations, gun buybacks. Because some of the serial numbers have been looked up, and some of them, were from gun buybacks. Some were from confiscations. I don't know why I had so much trouble saying that. But yeah, it's really interesting to say the least.
Holy shit. So, okay, this is from ammo.com. Operation Fast and Furious, The Forgotten History of the ATF's Notorious Gun Walking Scandal. The ATF isn't all that bad. In fact, they had a policy of letting illegal gun purchases go between 2006 and 2011. It ended up getting U.S. Border Patrol agent Brian Terry killed on December 14th, 2010, and let Mexican criminals get enough guns that they were found at over 150 crime scenes where Mexican citizens were either killed or maimed. And some of the guns were used in the November 2015 terrorist attack in Paris at the Bataclan. But other than that, it turned out just fine. Obviously, sarcasm. Wow.
Speaking of border agents being killed and shot at, the Mexican military actually flies over into our territory and provides cover fire for cartels to cross over.
Uh-huh.
Look that up. It's pretty interesting. So that to me is an act of war. So why not just go over and take it over now?
Hold on, what's that one fucking drug? LSD. That's what I was talking about. What was it called? What was the fucking?
You talking about the MK Ultra
Ah,
experiment?
that's it. MK Ultra, bro. I went down such a rabbit hole on that MK Ultra. I don't know if you know like the entire big spectrum of it.
I know some of the details.
So I like to go over this because I like going over these because a lot of because thank God for the Freedom of Information Act, a lot of this stuff is undisclosed or you're allowed to look it up now if you actually dig into it, and the government's been somewhat okay about letting it out. But this is what I go about, um, you know, the conspiracy theorist shit. That like, oh, the government's not doing that. You're just a conspiracy theorist if you fucking believe the election's rigged. You're a conspiracy theorist and blah blah blah. If you think there's, fucking like a sex scandal going on in a pizza shop in fucking DC, I'm like, okay, maybe some of this bullshit, but not all of it, because when you look at things like Project MK Ultra, so right, it all starts from way back in Project Paperclip, or Operation Paperclip, where they took those Nazi scientists because they believed and they knew that the Nazi scientists were working with psychedelic drugs for mind control purposes, right? It got split where some of the scientists went to the Soviet Union, and then we got a shitload too that started our NASA program. But yet, in the 50s, we we were knowingly, and we were taking federal prisoners, we were taking troops in active service, and giving them LSD to try to, record their behavior. One captain, one major, jumped out of a fucking window after being dosed up with so much LSD and killed himself. But this shit went on for years, where even Charles Manson, so Charles Manson got out of prison in 1967. It wasn't until 1969 that he was arrested for the Sharon Tate murders and the Manson family thing. But it is believed that while he was in the federal prison, there's a whole book about it from Tom O'Neill. It's a great book. But he goes into detail about how he was in federal prison, that they were testing him with these LSD, got him out. His probation officer was running a clinic in San Francisco that was giving out LSD to people knowingly. And he was doing it for years, even up to the point where this book got released a year or so ago. Up until that point, after this book got released, it got shut down. They shut it down. But yet, in San Francisco, they were also doing Operation Midnight Climax, where the CIA would hire these prostitutes to bring these Johns in, and then behind one way window would observe these prostitutes, purposely give them the Johns LSD, and then they would, and then record them and observe them have sex and go crazy and see what the effects of LSD would have on people. But anyway, I digress. But for 2 fucking years, Charles Manson had violated probation at least 5 times, or multiple times, and his probation officer that was running this clinic would get him out of being in trouble because he was violating probation. He should have gone back to prison because of it. But yet he kept giving him LSD, because what Charles Manson was doing was also starting his Manson family. He would get these kids and he would keep them dosed up on LSD so much that he was trying to, control them, and and eventually got exposed after he murdered Sharon Tate.
Yep.
Well, it gets even farther than that, right? Prior to that, you had the patsy Lee Harvey Oswald get arrested for the assassination of JFK.
Mm-hmm.
Within 2 days, Jack Ruby comes up and then blasts the guy right in front of everyone in Texas. Yeah. Comes up and just
it doesn't get shot down in return.
Yeah, not just right in front of everyone, media, everyone, and just shoots him right there. Which that's that was the entire purpose of the entire MK Ultra Project MK Ultra, was that you get these guys dosed up where they didn't remember who told them what to do, and if they ever got caught by the enemy when they assassinated someone, that they wouldn't know, what to say because they don't remember being told or who told them to do it. That was the whole point of the project. And then he was heard when he was going into jail that he was screaming about how the Jews are on fire and like the Jews are burning and stuff like that, screaming like incoherent shit in this jail cell. And then magically within 5 years he dies of cancer in jail. But then you go Charles Manson, he's doping up the Manson family, and even during the court case, the girls were, hopping down the fucking, they were so pickled in their fucking head. Yeah. And so
that project also, I think did a experiment by putting the LSD in a town's water supply. It was either in Nevada or New Mexico, if I remember correctly, but they were putting it in the town's water supply, and people started hallucinating. And I think it got to the point where the hallucinations actually synced up, where people were having the same hallucinations at the same time. It was really bizarre. And then I think it was the same project, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, this is calling it a myth. It says the enduring myth of LSD and water supply. When chemist Albert Hoffman's accidental alchemy established, I don't know, but yeah, I guess there's something to it. I just can dig down deep into that, but what tripped me out about it is like, okay, yeah, that's really fucking weird that you had Charles Manson, get out of jail and then continuously violated probation and wouldn't go back to jail because this guy was basically keeping him out of jail, feeding him LSD, giving it to him so that they can study, and that because that's basically what he did. He fed these guys LSD and they did his bidding to murder Sharon Tate. But what got him was that he got charged under California instead of going back to the federal pin. So that's how but it gets even weirder. So you know who Saran Saran is? He assassinated Robert Kennedy.
Oh yeah. At what was that?
The hotel.
Yeah, he was doing a speech.
Yeah. Well, the prosecutor during the Charles Manson thing was like, something really weird was going on with him. Something about like he had too much involvement. I have to remember and dig deep back into it. But yet, it's weird because Saran Saran claims that he went to a hotel bar there, and then a woman approached him, and they had a drink, and then next thing he remembers is that he's getting tackled by Secret Service or tackled by police inside the kitchen. He doesn't remember shooting Robert Kennedy, but yet it's in the same jurisdiction, the same prosecutor, the same police officers that were involved in the Sharon Tate murders were involved in that investigation of Robert Kennedy. Another one that blows my mind is that Martin Luther King's assassin was James Earl Ray. He did time in federal prison and also did time in the army in the 50s and claimed that he doesn't remember firing or shooting Martin Luther King either. Which the CIA was really watching him a lot because they thought he was a communist.
Yeah.
It's really it wasn't until Gerald Ford got involved into the Warren Commission, where once Gerald Ford became president after Nixon resigned, I think he established the 1974 Information Act. Was he president in 1974? Can't remember. Freedom of Information Act. Anyway, but he also told the CIA, like, hey, because of the Freedom of Information, you guys have to disclose all this information. Suddenly, the head of the CIA at that time was also the guy that was the head of CIA during JFK, that JFK wanted to get rid of. Went through all the documents and purged everything that had to do with MK Ultra. Luckily, they found some kind of document still hidden that was filed under a different name for secretive purposes. But that whole MK Ultra shit, man, it blows my fucking mind. And to think that, remember, people used to say that, like, I even talked to my mom about it, where she knew a guy that was in the army in the 60s in this Vietnam time, and he would come back saying, oh, the government experimented on me, and everyone thought, oh, it was just a fucking wacko, alcoholic on the street, think that the government was fucking with him. But it was true.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like people that they get their teeth filled in with metal, can hear radio transmissions. Like,
oh, another one, the Unabomber, right? Kalinsky, what's his name? Excuse me, man. I'm using.
For his name
is Ted Kaczynski, right? Ted Kaczynski went to Harvard. During his time in Harvard, they were testing LSD on college students. He was tested with LSD as well. So the belief is that him going fucking apeshit because the government was testing on him, that's what caused him to go so crazy and be up in a fucking shack up in the mountains and sending bombs to the post office. Because the government, again, was testing with LSD. So, Unabomber, LSD testing at Harvard. Harvard's experiment on the Unabomber, class of 1962.
That's why if you're ever going to use LSD, microdose once a year. No more.
Yeah, but a lot of these guys, like even what Alex Jones was saying, was that, they would just put these guys under observation and just keep feeding it to them, see how fucking wacko they would get. Because, like, there was he believed that, or they believed that where they would find these technologies was by getting their mind into a different dimension, and then the beings in a different dimension would tell them these plans of death machines and shit like that, he kept saying that his dad was involved because he was a dentist and some shit like that in those experiments, which I'm sure there's a lot of truth behind that. But wacko conspiracy theorists,
That's the great thing about conspiracy theories is they're based in fact, and a lot of times they turn out to be true.
Yeah. During Kaczynski's sophomore year in Harvard in 1959, he was recruited for a psychological experiment that, unbeknownst to him, would last 3 years. The experiment involved psychological torment and humiliation, a story I include in my book, blah. Thereby causing him to experience severe stress. Kaczynski's anti-technological fixation and his critique itself had some roots in the Harvard curriculum, which emphasized he supported objectivity. Anyway, but yeah, they really fucked with the guy, and that the government created it,
Yeah. The government creates monsters for sure.
Yeah. But hey, let them create a panel, a truth panel, so that they can determine what is truth and what isn't truth, and and create a department of propaganda so that we can get silence for. Let's trust the government with that.
I mean, they're trying to open up actual portals to other dimensions. Yeah. They've probably already done it. I don't remember what the project's called right off the top of my head, but that was the whole purpose of it.
Let's see.
If I think about it, I'll throw it out. But it's something crazy, man. Like, why? Just leave it alone.
Yeah, it was very interesting to hear Alex Jones talk about that, because what was he? I think he was saying something about have you noticed that, like, ever so often in history you have someone like a Hitler that gets this idea of like killing a whole bunch of people, like giving the blood to the sacrifice to like some kind of interdimensional being, where it was the same thing when it was the Aztecs, or the Incans or Aztecs, right? That would
Yeah.
sacrifice thousands of people on top of the mound for what, because they thought that when they were doing this ayahuasca, when Hitler was on these whole fucking other god shitload amount of drugs, that whatever he was talking to or reaching out to was like a demon that was telling them to sacrifice these people, to kill these people, that they wanted blood, 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 is what he would say. It was very interesting to hear all that. Because it trips me out, man. Because he's like, you could go into these other dimensions, you could be high on these fucking drugs, and you're off in the some fucking where, and you can either get a lot of peace, or find a lot of good, but then you can also have to be aware of the bad, of the evil that's in there too.
Yeah, I have a pretty strong belief that those type of drugs do give you that ability to see into other dimensions. Um, and whether it's good or bad, if you go in with a fucked up mind and negative thoughts, you're gonna have a bad trip, man.
Yeah,
But if you go in, cool, calm, at peace, then you're gonna see, really awesome shit. But I have a firm belief that dimensions are so intertwined with our own, like just different ones,
yeah,
that that's the reason you get things like the Mandela effect. That's the reason why people see ghosts. That's why people see angels and demons at different times, just at random.
yeah,
You know, it's all interconnected. It's all right. We're all right next to each other, but we, I guess, don't have that doorway open to be able to see it because we are so uh, focused on our technology. I mean, our faces are in our screens, most of the day. Let's be honest.
mm-hmm.
We're focusing on all of the negativity and nothing positive. So, yeah, I mean, I wasn't kidding. Yeah, microdose, once a year. I mean, if that's for you.
Yeah. You
If you
know,
do it every single day, you're gonna fuck yourself up.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Really, Mujahideen. What the fuck? Oh, 78. Okay. Yeah. I mean, there have been studies about how microdosing psilocybin has been having great therapeutic effects for PTSD, treating PTSD and other kinds of like either addiction or other kind of like mental disorders as well. I've been very interested to like dive into that because it's like, for those who don't know, microdosing is not about getting the high or getting the trip, but it's just giving you enough where you have therapeutic benefits coming from it. It's not to get you high or fucked up or anything like that.
Yeah, like I said, it's mainly to open a door into your subconscious. If you have something that's been bothering you since childhood, for instance, you
Trauma.
can
Yeah.
you, you can you can really help yourself. And, like I said, you do it. Microdosing, do it not very often. Otherwise, you're going to pickle your brain and you're going to be all kinds of fucked up.
Yeah.
And also make sure it's from a natural source, like peyote's from a cactus. You know what I mean? Make
Yeah, the ayahuasca is from a what the fuck is ayahuasca? It's from a cactus, right? Isn't that what it is? I don't even know how to
uh,
spell that.
I'm sure Google will find it for you. Or
Wow, I got that really completely all fucked up. Ayahuasca, Peru. It's a South American Ethiopian brew made from a vine. Yeah, so it's from a vine, not from. You see some weird shit in that one.
I'm all about natural remedies. I have a deep, healthy mistrust of pharmaceuticals. Um, I have a deep, healthy mistrust of authority.
Yeah,
You should never trust another human being. You should use what God put on this earth for us. And the reason they want to keep us from it is total control, because they want to enslave us, basically. They want us brain dead, with these opiates, these synthetic opiates, I should say. I mean, don't get me wrong, opium's fucking horrible,
Yeah.
but it's terrible for you. But at the same time, there are a lot of things on this planet that could benefit us. That's my little rant.
Yeah. I think yeah, you can find a lot of things that can help us when it comes to pharmaceuticals and natural sources. Because yeah, I mean, you're, what is that? Opiates. They have the benefit of relieving pain, but it doesn't take away the pain. It doesn't heal the pain, and it very addictive and it's very destructive. People get hooked on the oxycontins and then go straight into heroin when the oxycontin runs out. So it's yeah.
I mean, heroin, what comes from the poppy plants. I'm sure you've seen those when you're in Afghanistan. The
Yeah.
big poppy fields. They're gorgeous, gorgeous plants.
It's a lot
I'm sure.
like it's a lot like the an artichoke. At the moment it blooms, it ruins the what's inside of it. But I didn't see any poppy fields where I was at in Afghanistan. But apparently Afghanistan is responsible for like 80% of the world's opiates.
Yeah,
Even still today.
but that juicy goodness on the inside of those plants by itself is relatively harmless, from my understanding. There's all kinds of medical benefits for it, but it's when man gets its hands on it, turns it into a poison.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like the coca leaf that cocaine and crack's made from. By
Yeah.
itself, it's harmless.
Yeah. Then you chew the leaf and you're not getting like completely messed up. You get the rush to keep going. And chewing the leaf is basically harmless. But if you look at the processing of cocaine, where they put in the kerosene, they cooking it, and all this other shit that they add into it to really get the cocaine what it is that of. Yeah, you're right. They
I mean,
completely.
they're basically a pharmaceutical company at that point, just an illegal one.
I mean, yeah, you can. I mean, you can have pure opium. Well, I mean, like from the poppy plant, let's just say, which is probably less harmful for you. But then you can also make pills from it, or you can make heroin out of it. You could either have something that probably take it and be just fine, or you can also have a derivative of it that you take one shot and you're fucking dead. You know.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, you have a good point on that.
I mean, I want to say that for the poppy plant, if you did it topically, rub it on their skin, I believe that that's great for pain relief too. Like, you don't have to ingest it, you don't have to shoot it. You
Really?
know, if my memory serves me correct, that is.
Let's see.
Um, it's been
Um,
used forever. Most plants have been used forever. We just forgot about it because we become too dependent on pharmaceuticals. Modern medicine, well, yeah, it has its good points. Also, is a very, very terrible thing as far as medications go.
yeah. Yeah, I don't see methadone, Suboxone. God, it's such a fucking dangerous shit, man. Some of the more commonly used opium drugs include Demerol, codeine, morphine, oxycodone, hydrocodone. So the funny thing about opiate use is that codeine is could be if you take a lot, and I'll get into the story about how I found this out. If you abuse, let's say, hydrocodone, and you take more than you should, your body will start turning excess hydrocodone or any other or hydrocodone and turn it into codeine in your system. It becomes a byproduct. I had a soldier that was getting prescribed oxys, the blues, which I guess the whites are like 5 milligrams and the blues are like 10. I don't know the difference. I mean, if you're the drug experts out there will know the difference, but the blues are the high end ones. And he would go in either for kidney stones and he'd get like stacks, bro. I mean, he was getting so much prescribed to him, man. I don't know what the fuck this doctor ended up getting investigated by CID because he was handing it out, but because he was on prescribed this medication, you know, he wasn't getting he couldn't get, you know, chaptered out for a piss test because, you know, he had it on his list of until one day we were doing a Friday fun day. It was like a company baseball game, softball game, some shit like that. And when everyone was leaving, he rear-ended the commander.
I guess
Commander got word that this guy's been, you know, possibly abusing his pills, his prescription. And on Saturday morning, like at 7 a.m., we all got called for 100% recall for a urinalysis. I got woke up at like fucking 7 in the morning, and I was drinking until like 5 the night prior, or the morning of, you know, 2 hours. And I just went to bed, got a couple hours of sleep. So I was kind of hammered when I was going in. And I didn't really put two and two together until the guy was assigned to me that I had to chapter him out. But they got him because of not of the hydrocodone or the oxycodone that was in his system, but because of the level of codeine in his system. Yeah, so he had a high level of codeine in his urine. So not only was he not prescribed codeine, but because it showed signs that he was not taking the recommended dosage, he was overusing it unlawfully, unlawfully, I guess you could say, and it created this high level of codeine in his system. And when he tried to take it into to fight it, they were like, "Yeah, you may be prescribed, but it's fucking obvious that you were taking more than you should have, because if you were taking your recommended dosage, you wouldn't have this high level of codeine in your system." I know, it's kind of but man, I'm telling you, when I got out here to this base, this place is fucked when it comes to like discipline, and like you thought like maybe some people at Riley were bad and getting chaptered out, bro. I've seen fucking 1,000 times worse here. I'm telling you, my first one that I got while I was here, maybe not even a month. 19-year-old kid from Laredo, Texas, Hispanic dude, married to like a 32-year-old. Did I tell you about this one? Okay. He was like married to a 30-year-old, 32-year-old, something like woman, either like, and had a kid with her. He gets arrested for DUI at 19. So, and then after that, he gets arrested again for domestic violence, hits on his woman. He has to go in to live into the barracks, and he has to check in with CQ every time he wants to leave and go. One night, he's like, "Man, fuck this." He just bounces out, goes back to his house, beats up his woman again, and leaves. Just calls up the platoon sergeant and was like, "Hey, I'm on my way to Mexico. I'm not fucking coming back." Well, he almost made it to Mexico. This fucking idiot was trying to become a radio DJ in Laredo. Then within like a week of him trying to do that, his ass gets picked up by the U.S. Marshals. This guy was maybe gone a month.
I'm not much of a geography guy, but I think Laredo's a little too far north of Mexico.
Not quite. Yeah, Mexico and still the U.S. of A. Yeah.
I mean, unless he's a time traveler from the past, and Mexico still has control of Texas.
Had one guy. Had one guy. He was a sergeant, E5. He was court-martialed in our battalion. I had to deal with his court-martial.
Is that at Fort Lewis?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he was charged with using a belt on his kid. Which you're like, oh, people use, but I guess it left marks. And then not only that, but like after that, he had used an electrical cord from a lamp to beat on this kid. Yeah. So that he lost his rank to E4. Had to do 30 days, 60 days maybe, and then misconduct discharge. The one that was really fucking hard with me was this one fucking kid. If there's any vets out there that are going to be watching this, these are just like my horror stories of having to deal with turds in my own fucking... It's in an MP battalion of all fucking places, right?
Where all the biggest turds are.
So I get moved. Yeah, right. I get moved to a different MP company, and then I get assigned this kid. I get told by the platoon sergeant, hey, he's failed his PT test on the run, and he also has a real bad issue of showing up late to first formation. I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm like, look, came up to him, I said, hey, look, dude, you got a fresh start with me. I don't know you don't know me, so let's get to know each other. I'm like, I hear that you're showing up late. I'm like, don't fucking show up late. And so... That's it. I'm not going to say anything else after that. But you have a new start with me. Just show me what you got. Obviously, first fucking day he shows up late, and I said, "Look, man, I told you. So this is what we're going to do. This is what punishment is. I go to the gym at 5:00 in the morning before PT. You're showing up with me. You're showing up fucking with me. We're working out 5:00. Boom. So I gave him a few weeks of that. I magically get this guy to pass his PT test. I'm like, hey, I'm on a good fucking roll here. Within like a week or two, he goes off to the library with this other guy in the platoon who's a turd. And then I get this phone call saying, oh, hey, Lorenz is in the parking lot having a seizure. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I get in my car and I rush out there. Platoon sergeant rushes out there. Ambulance is already there picking him up. The guy that he was with is like pale in the face, man. He's freaking out. And he's like, "What?" I'm like, "What happened?" We're in the library in the computer trying to do whatever mandatory, whatever bullshit the Army's done. Then you have to do on the computer. And then he started walking out, and he just collapsed. So I get into the ambulance, and I'm sitting in there with the guy, and so the EMT is like, "So, you ever seen this before?" And he's like, "I'm like, no." Like, what are you talking about? It's like, oh, man, we see this shit all the time out here. He's like, these kids be doing this fucking spice, and then they fucking have these seizures, and we have to come out. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, this is... So, go to the hospital, approach the guy he was with. He's pale, and I'm talking pale, man. Like, fucking white. And I'm like, look, don't fucking lie to me. I'm like, did you give him anything? I kind of left it open-ended,
Yeah.
So I said, did you give him anything? And he's like, oh, man, we smoked the spice. And I'm like, fuck, dude. So they try to piss test everyone. They didn't really have a piss test that they could really come up. And so they were trying to chapter both of them out. I mean, wouldn't have anything to stand. But while this was happening, within a week after that, he gets drunk at his house on base. And drives his car into a pond right by his housing because he was arrested shirtless trying to fight the DA officer because he wanted to go fishing in the middle of the fucking night drunk as fuck for DUI, right? .24.
Oh my god.
Yeah. This guy then starts spiraling down farther and farther, showing up drunk in the morning. I picked him up. I had to take him to the MP station twice for showing up at and he fucking blows a .15 at fucking 7:30 in the morning.
God, man.
Yeah. And so we get his ass sent down to Oregon so he can go to treatment because this guy was seriously having a drinking problem. I find out the reason why he was showing up late all those times, even before I got there and after I did, is because he was getting fucking hammered the night before and he sleep through his alarm. So he was really drinking like every day, getting fucked up. Send him off to treatment. He comes back, starts doing good, starts hitting the sauce again, man. Hits the sauce. He's drinking with his like wife. He's got 2 little girls at home. He has his neighbors over or some shit. And then he makes this comment about let's give the kids some Benadryl so we can fucking keep drinking through the night and so they pass out. And then he starts fucking talking shit to his wife. And then the guy that was there didn't like it and fucking knocked him right in the head, punched him right in the face. He tried coming into work saying he got hit with a doorknob. What wasn't the fucking case? Because he came in with a fucking black eye. Bro, so we get this guy successfully chaptered. I shit you not, man. This guy has been such a fucking pain in my dick for fucking months at this point. Because every time he's not showing up on time, I'm getting fucking yelled at by my platoon sergeant. It got to the point where I was getting yelled at so fucking often that the first sergeant had to come in and say, look, just stop. He's like, if he fucks up, just write it down. He's like, it's not his fault anymore because it got to that point, man. Right? It's not mine, that is. Yeah. Well, we get this guy. He's getting the general discharge because I even took him to his court appearance where he had to get sentenced for 1 day in jail, pick him up, and then bring him back on the base. But anyway, we get his chapter. He's clearing within the week. He's clearing. His wife leaves him. He's at the house by himself. We got to clear him out of the house. And then he hits the sauce one more fucking time. He drinks like a whole fucking like more than a fifth of Evan Williams. Gets in the fucking car, tries to leave base because he wants to go to a strip club in Seattle. He's taking his fucking like moving money, the money that the army gave him so that he can move back home to Florida, and wants to use it on fucking strippers and a prostitute. As he's leaving base, he gets pulled over and arrested for a .25 DUI.
Golly, man.
Battalion commander. I'm talking, this is the week that we're fucking kicking his ass out. And battalion commander was like, fuck this guy. We're lowering the discharge. I'm sending it to the colonel for approval. So they took back the discharge that he was getting. So like it stopped. That we're kicking him out. We're stopped that so that they can bring him from a general discharge down to an other than honorable. It's like, fuck this guy. We're sending him back, man. We're lowering that discharge. For those that don't know, it's very fucking difficult. You have to be a complete fuck up to get something lower than a general discharge. You know, because it goes honorable, general, other than honorable, and then 2 more steps. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Fucking mess, man. So like the day that he finally fucking left, I told him, I said, I'm not going to say his name. Sorry. Close.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah. I said, you get in the car. The moment you get out of the state lines, you give me a call. That way I know I feel like I'm fucking safe to go drive out knowing your ass is not around here. And so I happened to went home and went with my squad leader. He came over. We were drinking, and then we called him up. I said, Lorenz, what the... Or fucking Smith, you know, what... I told you to give me a fucking call when you're out of the state so I know you're out of this motherfucker. Yeah. Dude, it's such a...
Wow,
I've had guys... I've gotten called in on Thanksgiving night because guy got drunk and tried to fight the CQ and come in for that. I've had it all, man. I've had it all. Oh.
You know what?
Yeah.
If I'm not saying alcohol should be illegal because that's been proven to be a failure, but if soldiers were allowed to have things like, you know, cannabis, there would not be half of this shit going on.
I've had one guy. He was a mechanic. he popped hot for marijuana here, and for those that don't know, yeah, okay, well, marijuana is legal in Washington, yeah, but you still can't use it in the military. That's what they fucking preach to you all the time. To me, in my honest opinion, I think it's a stupid fucking thing to kick someone out for just because they smoke marijuana. That's just my personal opinion, which hopefully will go out soon. Anyway, fucked up thing here. So he had a motor pool sergeant E7 that really had his back. This guy was a really good guy. Like his crew, he'd fucking fight tooth and nail for these guys. Real good guy. Kind of shady, but real good guy. Anyway, soldier test pops hot. He does his extra duty, 15 days, 30 days, whatever the fuck, 45 I think it was. And then and so when it came down to like saying, hey, should we keep the guy in? They decided, oh, let's keep him in. I'm like, oh shit, you don't fucking really see that, because he had this motor sergeant that really has his back, because he wasn't that bad of a guy. He was a real good guy. So then we do this like company shuffle, and then he gets moved to a different company. That company commander found out that he popped hot, and then chaptered his ass out.
What?
Yeah. Commander's discretion.
So he didn't pop hot again, but the new commander, wow.
Yep.
I can't remember if the UCMJ has a jeopardy clause.
Yeah, well, this was all within 6 months that this happened. But yeah, him getting transferred to another company really fucked him. Yeah. Because that commander was like, oh, nope, let's get him. Because, like, reality, maybe he showed up late one too many times. I don't know. Once he went there. And then be like, okay, well, we got this, so fuck you, you're out. Because this was during, like, Obama days, where, like, drawdown was heavy in 2013, It was like they were going through fucking sergeant's first classes, like history, and like, oh, hey, motherfucker, you got a DUI in 1997. Your ass is getting out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's sad, man. It's so sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man.
I've seen it all. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I really hope that one day it'll become federally legal for both medical and recreational.
I'm sure we'll see that in our lifetime. I'm sure.
That way our soldiers can get at least decent help that they need. I'm not saying give it to them during a deployment, but when they're back home, it's a much better way to relax than alcohol. One, you're gonna show up for PT the next morning because you're not gonna be fucking hungover.
Yeah.
Two, you're not gonna be up till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning because that shit's gonna put you to sleep.
Yeah.
Way sooner.
And normally you find yourself with your car in a ditch near a pond, shirtless, trying to fight cops. Yeah.
Yeah, if anything, you'll be in the pond shirtless, but you're gonna be like, "Hey, peace, cops." Yeah,
yeah, I fucked up, man. Yeah, yeah. Because it's so fucked up, man. Like you put these soldiers in a state that allows marijuana recreationally, and if they just happen to fuck up and take a puff or two, you just kick them out. Like you're setting them up for fucking failure in the first place, and that's why I didn't agree with it.
Well, not only that, man, they're making so much money, and the fucking painkillers that they put everybody on, like, it sucks the soul out of you.
Yeah,
like, it literally puts your soul to sleep. Like, you have no fight in you, especially when you get out. People just want to, take it easy, take their pills, not give a fuck about anything. Hey, I've been there. My back's all kinds of fucked up, but I will not take another pharmaceutical as long as I live.
I've never had that. Like I've broken my ankle before, and I've been given oxys before. I just never really felt any difference. I don't know. I agree with you. It's just not my thing at all. But other people just have that predisposition to addiction.
Yeah, and I think that was my biggest issue is Especially like they'd give me Tylenol threes, Tylenol fours, morphine. Morphine was the fucking worst. Like I was on that shit for a good 2 years, and I didn't give a fuck about nothing.
Really?
Yeah, and then finally I kicked it, man. Like I blazed up one time, and I didn't want to do anything else because I felt great. I felt like I was young again,
Yeah. That's good.
and
That's good.
never touched it again. And I quit drinking because of it too.
Really?
Oddly enough, yeah. And that's only because I can only do one or the other. If
Yeah.
I get crossfaded, it's a bad fucking day. And I'd much rather do that than drink.
Yeah.
Like I said, I won't get hangovers. I won't be puking my guts up. I won't be waking up in a puddle of my own piss. It's like it's the obvious choice, man.
Wake up with bruises or yeah.
Yeah, kick back and relax, watch the sunset, and just living the good life at that point.
I'm telling you, man. When I went to the soldier's house, man. That would told you they had like the drinking problem. This guy was just so. He had such a big problem, man. That like he had a dog in the house just pissing on the kitchen floor. Kids walking around just in a diaper and no shirt on, no clothes and shit. You know what I mean? Like really fucked up the place, man. And you could tell the only thing he really gave the fuck about was just getting off work, getting fucked up, getting off work. And it wasn't like just on weekends. It was like on Mondays, Tuesdays, every day of the fucking week. You know, uh, yeah, it's too bad. And I hope he really found a lot of help. I never talked to him since because he was such a pain, bro. They had made sure that he was on my fucking hip. Everywhere I went, he had to go. And everywhere that he was going, I had to go with him. Yeah, and that it was that. Yeah, it got that. It was so fucking annoying. Like, because my wife remembers and she really jokes with me about it. Uh, that when I was like, what the fuck was I doing? Because I had my wife in the car and I was either dropping him off or picking him up or something like that, and then he tried to walk off somewhere, and I'm like, hey, where the fuck are you going? I'm like, you have to be with me. Get in the fucking car. I'm like, I even moved houses while he was still underneath me. And so I was like, hey, man, you got a choice. Either be at work or you can fucking help me move. And, yeah,
Hey, you know what? The obvious choice for me would have been help you move.
yeah, well, he did. Yeah, sure as fuck
I,
did.
I hated being at the company all damn day, man.
Yeah, God. Hurry up and wait. Nothing, nothing, nothing. And it's, fuck, man. I'm so that's the part that I don't miss. I definitely don't miss those fucking platoon duty days, man. Of fucking just doing fucking nothing, but then magically at fucking 16:55, hey, you guys need to get your fucking action avoidance. You guys need to get this done. No one's fucking going home until this shit's done. I'm like, oh, like what the fuck?
Cocksuckers.
Been sitting here all fucking day doing nothing.
We do nothing. We do nothing.
Yeah, man. God.
Yeah, I definitely don't miss that.
I've had to sit down with a lieutenant before, and I said, like, look, you got to talk to that platoon sergeant, man. I'm like, this fucking. What he would do is that he would, every day would go into the first sergeant's office, all the platoon sergeants get like the daily notes, and then come out and tell us basically the same shit of like, fucking PT tomorrow, get the book done, blah blah blah. But then he would have this tendency that he would want everyone to stick around until the squad leaders were briefed and then go out and then tell the Joes. And he would fucking go on forever and ever just talk and talk. And I'm like, look, you're either reiterating the shit we already know. Can I just tell the guys fucking 6:30 PT, get the fuck out of here? No. I'm like, oh. Just keep yapping. I'm just sitting there and going, I know. Can we get the fuck out of here?
Yeah, definitely. I miss some of the people, not all the people, but some of the people.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah. Good old days. Anyway, we're already at 2 hours.
Yeah, man. It's 02:30 2:32 here, man.
Shit, is that Texas time? Yeah, it's 12:30 over here. Well, about good to wrap it up.
Yeah, man, I'm good.
All right. Hey, I just want to say thank you for anyone that came out to watch. I don't know who the fuck's going to be making it this far to watching it, but hey, if you have, thank you. Follow me on Rumble, follow me on Facebook, and give a like, share. Love you guys. Take care,
Later.
man.
Later.